everybody, and welcome back to another Rosh Reviews, where today you join me in a 2016 Maserati Ghibli V6 Diesel. And I know you guys are thinking, Maserati made a diesel? Yes they did. And this thing is actually quite peculiar. It is a 3-liter V6 turbo diesel that makes 275 horsepower and over 600 Newton meters of torque. Rear-wheel drive with an 8-speed ZF. There's something to this car, maybe. Now, obviously, when you first think of Maserati, and especially Ghibli, you don't think of reliability or great build quality. And when you sit in here, you do see a lot of those unfortunate pieces that they did put on this car. You know, the infotainment system, it's straight out of a Chrysler product. It is the Uconnect. And although it is okay, it definitely shouldn't have been in a Maserati. A lot of the window switches as well, they are all straight out of a Chrysler. It's a lot of Chrysler in here, but it's not that this thing is terrible. There are some good things in here. I do like the Maserati branded clock up here. You know, there is some nice leather throughout this cabin. I particularly do love the paddle shifters because they are actually, I don't know if you can hear that, proper metal. They are mounted to the column like they should be, and they are absolutely massive. And just giving it some beans here, let's... I do love these shifters. And yeah, you know, the gearbox is pretty responsive. It's not a dual clutch or anything, but we gotta remember this is a diesel, guys, and sometimes it does trip my brain because they have done a fantastic job with insulating this cabin, because a lot of the times you can't actually tell this thing is a diesel. You know, you don't really hear it. It's quite well insulated in this cab, and I'm impressed. Now, a great thing about this diesel V6 is that it was kind of looked upon and almost co-developed by Ferrari's engine specialist, Paolo Martinelli. And, you know, you can kind of feel that inspiration when you hear it on song, because it does actually give you this very deep, sporty feel, and it is actually a good sounding diesel. It's pretty impressive. And when you get into it, you know, 3,000 RPM onwards, you know, this thing redlines just over 4,500 RPM. It is surprisingly engaging. It really does kind of give you this very heavy, deep sound, like from this from a diesel. It's a diesel, 600 Newton meters of torque in this bad boy. It actually has some go, and off the line, I've spun the wheels a few times in this thing already. Now, just before we continue with this Ghibli diesel, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell notifications so you stay updated with all our weekly uploads. Now, Maserati came out with the Ghibli back in 2013, and they are still making the Ghibli today. It is kind of Maserati's entry-level vehicle, so this is meant to be the affordable Maserati, and you can tell it's the affordable one because of all this Chrysler stuff in here. And, you know, even so far to the turn signal, it really does not give you a great premium feel. And the sound of it, yeah, it's definitely giving me a lot to desire. The one good thing about Maserati, though, is that it does give you a very good chassis. And this particular one has a 50-50 weight distribution. You know, the steering does have a pretty nice weight to it. It is hydraulic, so I do like it. There is a little bit of vagueness right at the beginning, but you can feel what those wheels are doing, and it's a pretty nice weighted chassis here. So the car actually does handle pretty well. You could get this Ghibli with 3 different suspension setups. This one, I believe, does just have the base suspension, and, you know, it does an all right job. It is a little bit firm over some bigger bumps, but that is to be expected in a sportier vehicle. This was a Chrysler diesel that you would have seen in some Jeep Grand Cherokees, and, you know, that's not really what you want to hear when it's a Maserati, but I do appreciate at least that the Ferrari engineers did have a little bit of a play with this in helping with at least the sound design and the way this thing performs. Now let's just talk about price here, because these Ghiblis are the entry-level Maserati, but they're still not cheap. Now here in Australia, if you were going to get a new one, this would have set you back about 140 grand. And you know, that is no small change. Today on the used market, you're gonna be looking about 60 to 70,000, and you know, that is still a lot of money for a diesel Maserati, but this is kind of for that buyer who's really wanting something unique, I think. You know, someone who's gonna buy this vehicle wants something that is weird, quirky, and no one else really has one of these. And I think this definitely ticks all of those boxes. This particular one is for sale at VansWest, so a huge thank you to them for letting me take it out today. If you guys do want to check this one out in a little bit more detail, a link for it is in the description below. Let me get on it. That steering is pretty nice. There's a little initial vagueness, but hydraulic steering, I like it. It's funny because it's a diesel, and you know, this is kind of meant to be the economy luxury large sedan because of that, but it still eggs you to give it the beans. You know, it still eggs you to press that accelerator hard and go through the gears with these big paddle shifters. The fuel economy in this is actually pretty damn impressive. It's claimed at 5.9 liters per 100 Ks, and I'm actually believing that because I've been giving it the stink most of this review, and I'm pulling up about 10 liters per 100 Ks. So to me, that is pretty damn good. The things that aren't impressive is obviously just the overall finish in the car. You know, you sit in here and it just doesn't feel nice. Like the fake wood, the shifter even doesn't feel nice. It's clumsy to get it in and out of gear. The wheel just, it doesn't look nice, you know, especially the indicator stalk. Just feels very nasty. It's like, it's really not very good. The seats are fairly comfortable. They are hugging enough, but they are not intrusive. And one odd thing is though, I don't see any heated or cooled seats. And again, at this price point, they needed to be having that feature because, you know, it's a 2016. It is a few years old now, but even my Holden Malibu has heated seats. This is something that is kind of inexcusable for the class. And again, the paddle shifters are phenomenal. I do really wish though, being a Maserati, we did have a big V8 up front, howling. But for a diesel, it does do pretty well. Now don't forget guys, we are doing the Laborde Motorsports free tune for 6 months. 1 tune a month is going to be given away, so make sure you do like, subscribe, comment, let me know your name, where you're from, what car you have, and we are going to pick a winner every month. The competition is open for everybody, so it doesn't matter if you're over east, international, we can send you a power gate out, and all the tunes are customizable through the internet. Now, just having a look around this Ghibli, it is pretty handsome, this thing. It's definitely, depends kind of what angle you look at it. I think down the side, it does get a little bit funky, but I do really love the front end of this car. I think the front bumper is really aggressive. You know, those lights, the daytime running lights in them, that angry grille. I always have loved that Maserati logo. The wheels are, you know, they're obviously not the nicest one. This is not a top of the range, it's a diesel, but you know, you have these vents here. They look like they function, but I am not 100% sure if they do. But yeah, they look a little bit cool. They kind of got this gill effect down the side. And you know, overall, it's a unique vehicle. This is something you're gonna buy if you wanna be different, and it's definitely different, this car. Now at the back of the Ghibli, it's, you know, look, it's pretty basic back here, but the one thing I kind of do appreciate about Maserati here is that they have not put a diesel badge anywhere. It simply says Ghibli Maserati. And you know, you've got the quad exhaust back here, and for a diesel, this thing actually sounds pretty damn impressive. So have a listen. And just when we come into the back of the Ghibli, look, it is a large sedan, but it is a little bit tight back here. You are meant to sit 3 people, but in actual practice, you're only gonna fit 2 people back here. You know, look, this one, I've got an okay headroom. My knee room is pretty limited. If you're a taller person, you are gonna struggle. And if you try and sit in the middle here, oh my goodness. Yeah, have a look at this, guys. Like, what is this? Maserati, this is unacceptable for this class of vehicle. Like, that's like way too high rising. You do have a drop down armrest here that basically should be down all the time because no one is sitting in the middle. Little storage cubby there, and you do have your own cup holders. You know, they feel a little bit like, I don't know, that feels a little bit cheap, honestly. Down here, again, you know, you've got those same Chrysler window switches that, you know, the Maserati, you know, they need to do a little bit better job in here. But yeah, in general, guys, it is definitely not best in class back here. If you're under 6 foot, you will fit pretty comfortably, but if you're over 6 foot, prepare to squeeze. Now, 0 to 100 in the Diesel Ghibli. This is claimed at about 6.3 seconds. I'm just resetting my draggy now. We have got traction control off. It's in sport mode. I don't believe there's a launch control, so we're just gonna send it. So 3, 2, 1. Spinning the wheels in a diesel. 100, and it's pretty quick for a diesel, I gotta say, and it definitely does sound pretty good. Let's pull over and have a look at what that time was. 0 to 100 in the Diesel Ghibli was achieved in 6.7 seconds. Claimed at 6.3, we did actually lose a little bit of traction, so you probably want to keep traction control on. Mate, I think this will do 3.1 seconds all day, every day. That's pretty damn impressive for a 1.8 ton large sedan diesel V6. Not bad, Maserati, not bad. This diesel, it does have some balls to it. It definitely motors, and you know, I can see it having that Maserati flair to it. I appreciate the column-mounted paddles, big. They're actually metal. I do love that. And for a diesel, again, this thing does sound pretty fantastic. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. The Diesel Ghibli, is this thing okay? Or is it just another pass? Because, yeah, we know that Ghiblis are, yeah, they're not the best, and Maserati is very questionable in terms of all of its maintenance, reliability, resaleability. Yeah, but I don't know, should you give this one a chance? I think they are interesting, weird, quirky, and if you had some money, you wanted a diesel, you wanted something that is a little bit peculiar, this may be your best bet if you are going to daily this thing.